I really hope somebody in the YouTube comments is like, we want more formal cooking segments. Like, I want that one adoring fan.
Formal.
Where the fuck are my notes?
Nah, because we're worried it's gonna be like my cooking segments.
Don't worry. Unlike RNG, I understand when and when not to use ketchup.
All the time, you mean?
The shade.
All right, so yes, please, Radu, please go ahead and try to explain to Formal what Metal Gear Solid 3's, particularly the end plot is. Good luck.
Hang on. I gotta find my fucking notes. It's been over a month.
Now, I will say, after Radu has his go, I'm also going to have a go, mostly because that stream went really late, and there's like a bunch of convoluted shit going on at the very end, just to have it be known.
It wasn't as bad as 2, but it was a lot.
Like I said, I don't even think it was bad, but it wasn't that bad, except for that fucking escort mission that came out of nowhere that really dragged the game out.
Yeah, especially because it blindsided you.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it?
Man, oh man, do I love being blindsided by escort missions.
I should turn that into
And
a
how
clip
about
of
being
me.
blindsided by escorts? That could be fun.
Just turn that into a clip or a fucking YouTube short just of me freaking out, screaming at her, move! Move!
Being blindsided by escorts is the name of the clip of me finding out my dad was cheating on my mom.
Oh, holy shit.
Ooh. Well.
They came out of nowhere.
No, they came out of his bedroom.
Oh.
But also, honey, if you start yelling move again, you're going to give me more trauma flashbacks to the last time I went to the grocery store and you just kept screaming at me.
Move,
Going down the
Panda, move!
aisles.
We have to get to the ketchup aisle! Hurry! Move!
What?
No. Never mind.
When?
It's a...
Okay,
Okay.
if I say vagina spider, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay, because I don't remember, and that's one of my notes.
I do, yes.
Sorry. You just write down vagina spider.
I had to make. All right, so
Radu.
these notes, if I have found the correct notes.
Yes, I know what vagina spider means. That is a Metal Gear Solid 3 note.
Okay, if I have found the correct notes, it's a page and a half of notes.
Yeah. No, that's the right
That's
notes.
less than I
And
expected.
I had to. There was so much going on. I had to cut things down to like one sentence, like barely a sentence in some cases. So, so my notes. None of this is fresh in my mind anymore.
I'm gonna grab an orange cream. Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, I'm also drinking an orange cream. All right, thanks to everybody for tuning into Cooking with Formal Blizzard. Now I'm going to give you the ASMR of Formal chopping pine nuts.
Okay.
All right. I hath returned.
That is central crack. All right, you're back?
I am back.
Rudy, did you just say sensual crack?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
Oh, my crack is sensual.
Of course.
All right, so I'm just going to read these
Biggest
off
love.
and try and remember what the fuck they mean.
No, don't even try to explain. Dude, just read me the sentences unprompted, no explanation. Just give
All
them
right,
to
you
me.
got
They're
it.
not all
Ron
sentences.
Wrigley.
You ready? Here we go. Lab coat tutorial. Next. Russian science guy sends Metal Gear plans to Otacon's dad. Next. The fear is a vagina spider. Next. Old man sleeps on cliff, dies, then snake does a snake eater mountain climb. Next. Ava has Zapidoo scotters and tells you about Raiden. Next. Zapidoo bullet punch on drunk barrel science guy. Next. Ava identify Rereal. Next. Fire space guy box fight ends with implosion fire ghost. Oh, okay. I'm starting to remember some of these. Steal Raiden clothes. And then Major Zero makes fun of Raiden. Monopoly Man is phase 2. The not Metal Gear has a rocket booster for extended range. New mission. Boom, everything. Snake fails the genital passcode. Vulcan makes Zapadu on Gimp Mask Snake.
We're gonna go big.
Ocelot boob grab. Snake eyeball gun time. Let's see. Ghost of Battles Past. Snake jail. Dog sewer. Ghost fight with no one. Blow up the tank. Fight the Vulcan. Chase robot fight. 3-phase Vulcan fight with Zapdu finish. More chase. Escort mission. Too much EXP. And then fucked up Scar. That's my list.
Oh my god, that fucking Scar.
Yeah, that
Okay.
fucking Scar.
Okay, RNG, before you make a comment, 1 to 10, how accurate is that?
All the way to the very, very end. That's accurate. Like I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, and then
Phenomenal.
I didn't write down. I was burned out.
Yeah,
by the-
literally, it's once you hit like everything after the escort mission, we all were super burned out. Like it's
Sure.
just after that would be the only things I would need to like really correct.
Yeah, I remember a lot of that last bit. So let me work my way through this, and and then I'll explain the last bit, and you can correct wherever.
Yeah.
And then stop me if you want to correct. I don't remember what the lab coat tutorial was. I don't remember if we were sneaking around trying to be a scientist or something. I can't fucking remember.
So do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. The lab coat tutorial was we were about to have to go in and track down the scientist working on the Shagohod, right?
Oh,
and they're
right.
like, by the way, you gotta like work on your way in there. So they stop you to do a codex to be like, hey, Snake, when you put on the lab coat, you'll look like a scientist. Scientists don't have guns. And things like that. They
cool
literally
ones do.
sit there and start telling you about how you're going to need to wear the lab coat.
And it's just Snake with a lab coat on.
Uh-huh.
Fucking headband and everything. Fuck. And then the Russian, after you find the guy who worked on the Shagohod,
Who's a drunk?
there was a fucking 5 to
Different
10
than the guy
minute
we
cuts.
rescued at the beginning
where-
from Revolver
No.
Ocelot's guys?
I mean, yes, but
It's
no.
the same guy.
I'm sorry. The drunk is a different dude. The Shagohod, we were there kind of for him.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like the fucking Russian science guy, he was the one that he created Metal Gear. Like he had the plans and everything, but they like this other guy who your whole mission is to get this guy out. I can't remember his name, but they like the fucking Shagohod better than the Metal Gear that this guy was working on. And he has a drunken cutscene where he's just rambling on, and then he's gonna send it to his buddy in America, who is Otocon's dad.
So
And that's the whole fucking continuity stapling.
to be
they did
clear on
with him.
this, it's not like he has an idea of Metal Gear and he's sending designs off.
No, he worked it out.
Yeah,
and
you can
everything.
see the blueprints on his desk. It just looks like Metal Gear Rex. And on the table behind him, there's a little stand of like little like figurine where he has Metal Gear Ray.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
made
his
the
drunk
little,
Russian
like,
dude.
Gundam
Correct.
statue.
Yeah, Metal Gear Ray was the ones the Marines invented. I think that one's just a reference, not canon. But the blueprint on his desk is 100%. You're like, that's Metal Gear Rex? Like, that's what did Otacon even do?
Right?
He found some plans in his dad's locker and was like, I'm gonna make a robot. It's a Russian dude.
Robot
Honestly-
plans. I love robots. Let's make a robot.
it would not surprise me at all if Otacon was like, "Hey, look, a Gundam," and then just accidentally.
Right?
So yet again, it's another thing Otacon didn't do. He literally already had the blueprints.
Like he stops fucking his mom right in mid-stroke.
Hey, look, a Gundam.
Right?
Holy
And then he just
shit.
leaves.
I didn't think I was gonna hear that sentence today. Holy fuck.
All right, my next one is the fear is a vagina spider. So the fear was one of the bosses, and I couldn't stop calling him a vagina spider because that's how he fights you. Is he comes down, you know, the
The vagina.
Spider-Man
yes,
thing
I'm
where
acquainted.
the rope is between his legs. Like that's what it looked like to me. It's a fucking vagina spider coming out of the foliage, dropping down on you. And then you fight the old guy. I can't remember. He was
Well, no, wait.
The guy in
Remember
the
the
wheelchair that
second,
we could have shot at the very beginning.
the second thing to the vagina spider was it reminded you of the real world, what you kept calling the vagina spider. The
Oh!
spider that, yeah.
the South American. Yeah, because no, they who was it? Somebody over the intercom, the codec, was explaining something, and they mentioned the South American spider that
Banana spider?
they extract the.
Oh, yeah, because he hit you with that venom. He hit you with the toxin. They're like, it's a bad toxin.
Right, that's the stuff that they extract the venom and they make Viagra out of it.
Yeah.
And it's I can't remember. It's the wandering spider. You familiar, Formal?
Of course. It's
Yeah,
my
and-
favorite blood pressure medication.
Right, and the pedipalps on the front of the spider are just giant and rose colored. So that's we had the whole fucking fight. I just couldn't stop referring to this guy as the vagina spider.
But it
because
also
of
made
that.
it also kind of makes the fight not really sensible because like, oh, you're fighting this dude and he's poisoning you with this horrible toxin. You're like, so Snake's got a raging erection right now, right?
Right.
Are we all in agreement that that by implication he just got shot with concentrated Viagra, and his health is just ticking down? You're like, oh god, it must hurt.
Okay, so my next idea for a Metal Gear super weapon, right? Or like Metal Gear gimmick, right? Instead of going for the Viagra spider, I think we go all the way and go for that dolphin secretion. If you
Oh,
know, you
shit.
know.
Oh God.
Like we hit him with the dolphin secretion, and like Snake has to figure out a way to like get it out of him before he dies, and then Otacon at the
no.
very end is like and has a little vial of it. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't want to know.
It's not worse
Look
than the
up John
vagina spider
McAfee
venom
dolphin.
fight, but
That's all you need to know.
that's good. I like that.
That's how I want to go out. I just want it noted. If I have to be killed, give it to me.
And then next boss fight, I think what was almost immediately after the spider fight, was the sniper.
No, we had to go into the science room and then come back out. Remember? But yeah,
I don't remember. It
Yeah.
was really short and not memorable. Did anything funny happen there? I can't remember.
no. I'm trying to remember if the penis passcode was during that.
No, it wasn't the penis.
No,
the balls. The balls.
How could you forget?
No,
That's
I have
later?
that written down later.
Okay, then sure, we go
fought
into the boss
end
fight.
first. Yeah, that's the where is it? Snake does a genital passcode. Here we go.
Yeah.
Snake fails the genital passcode.
Is it for his genitals?
Yeah, hold on.
Well,
yes.
no. Yes, technically, we'll get to that.
Go back to the boss.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff before that. The end fight was really cool, but it was old man sleeps on cliff, dies, then Snake does a snake eater mountain climb.
That fight was actually pretty intense. That dude kept popping my ass.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
The genuinely like the most fear that I've had in any of these fights. You just hear him. He's like, ha, ha, got you, young buck. It's like, where the fuck are you, dude? Pops me in the head. Like, stop it.
Right?
And then when he beats you, you don't game over. He just drags your sleeping ass back to the cottage and he's like, do it again. do it again. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
And
I love how RNG's defining characteristic of a sniper character is, he's such a good sniper. Like, what did you expect him to do? Be like, hey, look, I'm a sniper. I'm right here wearing Hunter's orange. Like,
To
of
be
course you're
fair,
gonna fucking see this
Sniper Wolf
That's
hid
the fighting
behind two
characteristic of a
trees.
sniper.
Reduce got a point. Sniper Wolf hid behind 2 trees.
And
she
this
did
guy,
it, and she's a
there
bad
was a
YouTuber.
whole
I don't know what
actual
you're expecting.
field. He'd be hiding in grass or
Yeah, he had an
behind
absolutely
something or up
massive
on a
map.
Yeah, there was 3 separate maps. There were zone changes and everything. It was a really interesting fight.
Like, you be following his footsteps. You're like, okay, he went this way after I chased him off. And you're following his footsteps. And then you hear behind you, ha, gotcha. Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm following your footsteps. What do you mean? Pop, popped you in the back of the head. What do you mean?
Nothing
Stop.
personnel,
funny-
kid.
The
Yeah.
great thing is if you follow his footsteps, you figure out where he was and where he went and everything.
Yeah, like, it's like, what the fuck?
And the funniest thing about that fight is you can skip it.
Yeah.
The best fight in the fucking game, and you can just casually just, nah, I don't feel like it.
Nah, that's okay, bro. 2 ways. You can skip it 2 ways. You can kill him early, or you can just not play for a week.
Yeah, he dies of old age.
Yeah. He literally wakes up. He does a prayer to like Mother Earth. He's like, thank you for giving me the energy to just have one glorious fight. And he says to you something along those lines like, please do me the favor of giving me one last thrill before my eternal sleep. You're like, okay. If you save the game and leave and come back a week later, you just find his body dead. He died of old age waiting for you.
That's why I keep getting that YouTube video called "Can you beat Metal Gear Solid 3 before the so and so dies of old age?"
Yeah.
Right?
funny.
And after that is the famous snake eater climbing a ladder scene.
Yeah, you missed it, dude. I felt real bad. I thought about it. I was like, is there any side thing I could do? But I was like, dude, it's an hour before Formal will even show up. I'm like, I got to do it now. I can't just blow an hour.
How dare you?
After that, there's a cutscene with Ava that has like a fucking electricity scar and shit. And then they tell you about Raiden's like grandfather or father or something.
Yeah, there's a Russian man whose last name is Raidenovich who looks just like Raiden.
And you
No
have
relation.
to steal his clothes to progress the plot.
And you already had his face mask from the beginning of the game.
And RNG had a hell of a time trying to figure out how to undress this man.
Right? And it was hilarious because Raidenovich would keep going into the bathroom and hiding in one of the stalls.
Like a coward, dude. He was the weirdest.
And and at one point, there was an alert. Raidenovich was hiding, and guys kept coming in and just standing there. So RG was just popping them in the head with fucking trank darts until there was a pile of dudes just chilling.
Fucking A.
And then there's a so you get Raidenovich's outfit, and then it makes a bunch of is this where they do a bunch of jokes at Raiden's expense?
I mean,
or is it
even when you first saw
after?
him, they
no,
were
the
making
Colonel
jokes.
talking about how much his face pisses him off.
Yeah,
Right.
Like when you get his face and you disguise yourself as Raiden, the Colonel just calls you for no reason. He's like, "Great, you look like him, but there's one problem. I fucking hate his face. I want to punch him so bad I don't even understand why. God, why do people like him exist on this earth?" Like they literally like hardcore, just like start ripping right in the new one. Like it definitely doesn't look like Kojima was a bit petty after Metal Gear 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is the Colonel anti-twink? Like, come on.
He just hates him. And like so now, like the other people, it's not just the Colonel, the other people contribute too. They're like, yeah, his face is weird. It's like, what?
They did the Matt Groening thing where the creator heard all these complaints about their work of art and then added a character specifically that complains about this shit.
Yeah. It was like kind of weird, but like,
that's what you do.
okay.
And then I think after that, that's when they go into the room, and there's a cutscene with the Zappy-Doo guy, and he has the bullet punch, and he kills the drunk dude that made the Metal Gear.
Yes, because the drunk dude gave you the key card or something to be able to continue on.
Right. So, and then fucking Volgin comes in, and they had a cutscene where they're talking, and then he just says he has a fucking Volgin line and punches him with his bullets. And then they reveal Ava's identity. That's in like that's before
have we passed the penis passcode?
No, well, not in my notes.
Okay.
Did we fight the fire ghost before or after the penis passcode?
You're very excited about this penis strategist.
No, because
it's a plot point.
It's a literal plot point, but it ties in what we were just talking about. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think I added a bunch of stuff in a weird way. So the Zappy-Doo, I'll go back.
Because you only saw him punching the barrel because you were in the room, which means you would have had to have looked like Raiden, which would meant that this would have been the time for the passcode.
Okay, yeah, no, I added notes weird. So I got Ava has Zappy-Doo scars and tells you about Raiden. And then after that, got it. All right, Major Zero makes fun of Raiden. And then there was a Monopoly Man is phase 2. Oh, okay, yeah. That's when you go in there and you find the guy who made the Shadow Hog.
The guy who made Metal Gear in the barrel?
Yeah. No, it was the scientist guy. You find him, and that's where all the fucking penis passcode and all that shit happens. That's after you do the Raiden stuff, and the Major Zero makes fun of you, and then he explains that the the Shadow Hog, so that it can launch a nuke. They put a rocket booster on it to make it go fast. To get extended range.
They took their all-terrain vehicle and made it only work on airport runways.
Yeah. It's a major plot point.
This was their upgrade. It's like, okay. And this is what they wanted over Metal Gear.
And then you get a new mission from Major Zero to blow up everything. And this is when Volgin comes in, and it's revealed that Volgin and Raiden are fucking. So the way that Volgin checks to see if you're the real Raiden is he grabs your sack.
Like he comes into a room, looks at you like something's wrong, and then just walks over and grabs your sack.
It's not a short grab. It's like a thorough.
Yeah,
it's like like an inspection. There's an odd oh god.
Yeah. And he looks and he goes, it says something like those aren't right or something. He's like, I know my Raiden when I feel him, or something stupid.
It was something like his balls were too big or too small or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the weight of them or whatever.
Yeah, that's not the right weight.
Right?
I know twink balls when I feel them.
You were joking about it, but that's literally what the scene was.
Yep.
They have like every other NPC from the story in the room right now. You have the other guys, or you.
Okay, I have to ask: is this an in pants or an out of pants grab?
Out of pants grab.
Out of pants.
It's a pants grab.
Oh,
outside the pants.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if it was in the pants, though.
But he comes in hard with the under grab, like he lifts you up.
Yeah. Twice.
Phenomenal, dude. Snake's got that's a heavy weight. That's a heavy burden off of Snake's hips. You know.
He just comes. It's like,
could you imagine, strategist? Could you imagine? Like, remember, you're in your Patriot days, right? Now imagine we shoot Patriot missiles at like super soldiers, right? And they're like, all right, I don't know what your rank is, but you know, soldier strategist. Here's an assault rifle, and here's your best friend who pisses himself every 15 minutes. Go save America and stop the nukes. Could you imagine the fucking wheelbarrow? Like the industrial grade hydraulic wheelbarrow you'd need for your 2-ton brass balls? Snake is happy, all right?
Yeah.
Snake, for the first time in his life, is not cramping in his IT band, all right? Last
not
time
cramping.
Snake got an erection, there was a global catastrophe and a shortage on blood flow, all right? That man's cock is so big, all right? Do you understand? Like, the magnitude. And remember, I am a licensed medical professional when I say this, all right?
Okay.
You heard it here first,
Certified,
folks.
formal Blizzard, big dick stamp of approval.
Big dick stamp of approval.
And remember, kids, it's always bigger in Alaska. In his IT band, all right?
It has to
Yeah,
be
it's
to
so
keep you
cold.
warm.
You think it-
Last
Not
time,
cramping.
Snake got
So you'd
an
think that,
erection,
but we know how to
there was
run a
global
windstone.
Catastrophe.
Oh,
I
there
got
you
a
go.
fire going. Flow, all right? That man's cock is
Hold
so
on,
big,
something's happening.
all
I'm
right?
hearing
Do you
echoes.
Understand? Like,
That might have been me. I'm yelling
the
in my house.
magnitude.
Look, I did a replay.
And remember, I am a
You haven't seen
licensed
words.
medical professional when I say this.
Here's a
all
check.
right?
It's a clicking though.
Okay. Oh, it's a replay doing.
Yeah,
It should be the
here first.
replay.
Certified,
Oh,
All right, chat. Dinner's
I'm
ready.
not
If
hearing
anybody
that.
wants tortellini, put your
All right,
bowl in chat.
on my way. It's gonna be 46 hours. I'm
Great.
driving.
Only 24 if you fly.
Oh, can I hitch a ride with you, Radu? You can swing by California, pick me up.
Yeah, I'll just
swing
by.
on by.
All right. I just got an electrical flash, so if you lose me my power probably went out.
Oh no!
No, the AI that got Rose, it got reduced.
It got Redu. Wait,
Oh yeah, Jack. I'm
wait a sec. Hold on. Can y'all see the stream? Not the Discord, the stream.
yeah.
Yeah, I see.
All right. I've tracked down the scene formal of the SAC test.
Oh, my god.
Let me pull this up.
All right, I'm gonna deafen in here real quick.
Why is this not matched correctly? I don't know. Probably because this is not full. All right. Can you see it formal? Is that a
I'm
yes?
finding your Twitch stream. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm finding your Twitch stream. It signed me out of Twitch. It's making me put in passwords. Authenticating.
I see how it
Hacking into
is.
the mainframe.
Oop, that's too low.
All right, now I have an ad.
Now I have an ad.
All right, here we go.
Ad. All right, you see it?
Yes.
What are you doing here? I've been waiting for you in my room.
What the fuck? What?
I forgot he grabbed twice.
That's not my lover's balls.
What the hell is that supposed to prove?
So you're joking, but
Don't
yes.
play dumb with me.
Yeah.
I told you
I'm
did it
joking.
twice.
I don't like that. No, no. They're,
They have given 51 gift subs in
they
the
both had
chat.
socks on. That's not
Oh
okay.
no, let it. If you keep going, he makes a comment about
Oh,
why he knows.
I closed it. I'm sorry. It's gone forever. I could try to load it up again.
I appreciate you.
Wow. You didn't even let the whole scene play out. He just
Well, we got.
blue-balled.
I mean,
It's a long
I
scene,
guess
though.
you're gonna have to go watch it yourself. Formal, go watch it.
I don't want to. Currently laying on the floor in the fetal position.
What from the just feeling the pain from the scene?
Like all men with large testicles, I had a moment of sympathy pain for my boy there.
And he
I'm gonna
goes
leave
in
it at that
twice.
for
That's the
terms of
best part.
service.
Ah, ah.
Because I know Twitch has artistic nudity, and the nudity I'm about to get to might not be artistic. So I'm gonna leave it there.
No, it's a very important plot point. Raiden's family has tiny nuts.
Yeah, they make mention of it.
Why?
More petty bullshit from Kojima.
Like I said, it was like, let's shit on Raiden time.
At least good on Kojima for being small dick inclusive. Like,
Well, see, I
That's-
thought it
that's
was
a
the
way
other
to
way
think
around. I
about it.
thought that was Kojima trying to say that Snake has small balls and that Raiden has big balls, and fuck everyone who hates Raiden because he likes Raiden. Like, he
Maybe.
likes his own character. But either way.
I mean, I was gonna say it's, what is it? Something not about the size, it's the motion of the ocean, and then my brain went, put a gear raise in the ocean.
Right?
I'm really tired.
But that's Snake failing the general passcode.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, after that, the Metal Gear inventor guy comes in, and does he come in with Ava? I don't remember.
Who?
Because Mr. Guy Volgan does a bullet punch. I don't remember
Yeah.
if he does bullet punch on the scientist or the drunk guy.
The drunk guy, he was electrically punching because he was in the metal can, so he cooked that man alive.
Oh, right.
And that was
Right.
outside when you and Eva were up on the cliff looking down.
Got you. And then there's the Ava identity reveal happens then because she has the same boots or something.
They did like a reveal for her like 4 times. Every time was like, surprise. Like, we get it.
Let's see.
I feel like at this point, I'm just asking why. Like, I'm not even. I understand now. It's less that it's hard to understand. It's more just why.
Why what?
No, you misunderstand. Just why? Like, why are we doing this? Why do we have to reveal the character 4 times?
Don't know.
Just
Like, because it's a demure lady, but at one point the camera focuses while one NPC is like, oh, she has muddy boots. Another one is like, oh, you smell like gasoline. Like, you see her dress up. She's like, surprise, it's me. And then later on, they do it again. It's like, we get the clues. Please stop bludgeoning me with the clues. We get it. The lady who looks like the book nerd is, in fact, the lady who rides the motorcycle. We get it. We get it. But yeah,
what's that? Like, nerd girl takes off glasses. Suddenly she's pretty.
That's literally what it was. It's like everyone.
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of the way it was.
yeah. Surprise.
I hate it.
I'm sexy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Zappy bullet punch on a drunk barrel science guy. Okay, that's what that is he's punching the barrel.
Yeah.
This is before all the other stuff. So we
Yeah,
did fight the fire space guy before
Oh yeah, because wait, no, did we? I thought
Yes.
Fire Space Guy was on the. I can't fucking remember.
No, it was there's that water area, and then that was right after because
Sure,
you go
yeah.
down and where the barrel is, and you get into the place, and that's where the you fight the fire guy.
Yeah, because we ended up in those sewers like 3 times.
Yeah, and this isn't even the dog sewer part yet.
Hello, THC. Welcome to the stream.
Yes, the pyronaut. Let me see. So the fire space guy box fight ends with yeah, the RNG was explaining that and he demonstrated you fight this fire guy that has like a fucking jetpack and he blows fire everywhere and lights places on fire and shit. And if you're in the box, you're safe. Because cardboard is famously not flammable.
No, not at all. That's like grade school knowledge.
The goofiest thing about that fight, other than the ending, is his reasoning. Because all the bad guys have an emotion, right? Like, this is my emotion I bring to war. I'm the fear. I'm the whatever, so on and so forth.
He's the angry.
Yeah, he's the fury or whatever. And his story is he went to space and looked at Earth and then was just fucking angry. So now he's a
Mad about
cosmonaut with a flamethrower and he just wants to kill everyone. What?
Yeah. And then he turns into a fire ghost and you leave.
Yeah, he Freddy Krueger's.
Let's see. We did all that. Okay, yeah, and this is what all right. After Snake fails the genital passcode, Volgin does he captures Snake, and then Volgin like electrocutes him a bunch. And I don't remember, was that a fucking push the button a bunch of times event?
I don't think so.
Because I like did Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 again because he just keeps electrocuting him.
I don't think so. No, because that whole thing was done in the cinematic of everyone kept trying to figure out a way to torture you, if you recall.
Oh, okay.
Like Revolver Ocelot starts doing his fucking juggling shit or whatever, and then it's like fucking it's Boss who like slaps the gun away, like stop that! Will you stop fucking around?
Right?
Yeah, because you get your eyeball shot
And then fucking
or something.
Ocelot does a boob grab.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the ways. That was one of the ways they did the reveal. He decides when he goes up to her, he just formal at the
Right.
Yeah,
He does it,
that was one of the reveals.
He grabs Ava's tit and recognizes it from when he got flash kicked by a motorcycle.
Yeah, when he got flash kicked by the motorcycle, he sees her and he goes, I have an idea. I guess inspired by Volgin. So he just goes over to Eva and just grabs her tit and was like, yeah, I recognize that tit. What the like literally suddenly for 30 minutes it was sexual assault corner. I don't know why. Everyone just started grabbing everyone's tits and balls like, I know who you are.
And the fucking that's when Snake gets his eyeball shot out. And
Vorplin's saying that there was a button mash to regen.
Oh, okay. I trust Vorplin.
Yep.
Let's see. Ghost of Battles Past. Oh yeah, and then after that you're in a cell, and then there's a ghost with a fucking sign floating around all over the place.
Yeah,
letting you know some nonsense.
The sorrow just shows up like, here's the frequency to get out. There is another way to get out where you can keep throwing the food back, and that's supposed to be the start of the Johnny having the shits storyline, but I forgot that that's where it was, so I didn't do it. Whoops.
Yeah, that's Snake Jail. And then the dog sewers after that, where you go through the sewer and there's dogs fucking everywhere.
Dogs everywhere, not dogs actually fucking everywhere. That'd be awkward.
No, they were not fucking.
Yeah, the sewer for the base. The sewer for the base just randomly led to a cliff that was thousands of feet tall. And they did that scene from the movie where he runs down the fucking
fugitive.
Yeah, the fugitive.
Yeah, they did the fugitive scene.
I should have wrote that on here. I think I was so just blown away at how bad that scene was and how easily I called it.
Yeah, you called it like twice. You were like, here, and there it is.
Right? I was just, God. I'm making jokes and it's right and it's hurting me emotionally.
Yeah, because I think the first time you're like, they're going to do that action movie thing where they jump out, and then like 5 seconds later, like, no, fuck it, I'm refining my guess. They're going to do The Fugitive. And
like, I was like, what's more
It.
ridiculous than that?
Yeah.
And then they do another chase. And the robot fight. No, do they do? Oh wait, no. After the dog sewer, then you have the walk through the river.
The river walk, yes.
Yeah, where you fight the ghost, but you fight the ghost by walking down the river, and not getting hit by the ghosts. And it was funny because you remember RNG was making a big deal that you don't kill anybody in the game. Like he killed, I think, 3 people because there were only 3 ghosts on this ghost walk.
It was just a lot of me
Basically,
walking
it
down
was
an
just-
empty river.
It was a it was a fucking walking montage through a river while a ghost talks shit to you.
Yeah. I didn't get to pull it off. It would have been one of the deaths I would have tried. I would have wanted if I could have pulled it off. But the game keeps track on a bunch of the people, Formal, about how you killed them for that boss fight. So they'll speak and like ghostly, like, you did this, you did it. So like if someone dies in an explosion, they'll be like on fire running down the top of the river. Or they'll be like, oh, you did this, whatever. One of the most complicated ones, though, is if you kill a dude on the mountain, there's a vultures that are nearby. You can lure the vultures in because of his body. If you kill one of the vultures and eat the vulture meat of a vulture who ate someone's body, when the guy is going down the river, he'll go, you ate me. He'll call you out for being a cannibal. So yeah, it was the bosses because they were all dead and like 3 regular dudes was in my river. But yeah, the more people you kill in Metal Gear Solid 3 before that point at the very least, the harder that fight is, because what he does is he uses those guys to slow you down and hem you up so he can shoot you with psychic energy at the end.
So it was boring because there was nobody.
Yep. but we had the ending.
Yep. And then after that is you run around a bunch of spots. Was that?
No, hold on. No, you skipped. I was talking about the actual end to that boss fight.
Oh, my bad. Keep going.
I was trying to egg you onto it, but if you recall,
I don't remember. It was boring.
When you get to the end of it, you find the Sorrow's dead body, and you go, "Oh wait, that's right, I'm not dead." And you take the anti-fake death pill and wake up.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
You literally get to the end of the boss fight, and it goes, "Oh well, it just kills you. It thinks it acts like it kills you. Game over." And you just take the revival pill and you wake up.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, the whole fight, he's attacking you and killing you and shit. When you get to his body at the end, 100% KO. He just kills you right then and there at the end of his boss fight. And it goes, game over, continue or exit. And you have to know to hit L2, open the item wheel, go to a revival pill, use a revival pill, and that will wake you up from his boss fight. And that's how you win the fight, is you have to use a revival pill.
I had completely forgotten about that. It's insane.
Did you just fucking snort?
Yeah,
That's how you know it's good. It's fun.
it's really goofy. Yeah, as Workman says, yeah, the capsule and your molar from the start of the game.
Right? That mentioned maybe once or twice. And that's it. And then after that, you sneak back in to blow up the Shagohog. And then what was it? You kept getting seen. I don't know if we ever figured out why. Like
No.
everybody kept seeing you from a mile away.
Couldn't figure out why, but our solution to it, we have to go back to the vagina spider. Every boss you kill non-lethally gives you their camouflage with special powers.
And the vagina spider one was you could have 100% stealth, but it fucked up your stamina.
Destroys your metabolism. Your stamina goes all the way down. So
And
there
that
was
was
like
part of the vagina spider fight is he would run out of energy, have to eat something.
you had to trick him with food. That's how you kill him. You get him hungry and you give him the bad food.
Yep.
So there was an area later in the game which I could not figure out who was seeing me, so we were just like, fuck it. And I just put on the super camo and just walked.
You just walked around and put bombs on everything. And then after that you fight Volgin. And that fight was well, you want to talk about the fight? I just have written down on here the fight with Volgin.
So when you fight Volgin, there's a bunch of crazy shit going on. First of all, he decides to flex his muscles and just electrocutes his clothing off his body, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, why do I keep getting this feeling that like Volgin is like the antithesis of Senator or not Senator Armstrong, Alex Louis Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist?
Basically, he's just some Russian
kinda
version of
is.
it. Yeah. So he has on this like weird big like fucking Go USSR metal uniform on underneath. And he hops into this room. He lowers this room and he's like, you and me are going to fight. And he has Revolver Ocelot watching like a referee or some shit.
Right, he just pacing around the outside like a fucking cat.
Yeah. So then he decides to fight you by he reveals that he's wrapped around in like Gatling gun fucking links of bullets, and he uses electromagnetism to summon it in the air, and then he explodes like a frag grenade into the entire room. Or he sends a bunch of electricity after you. So there's a couple of things you got to do. The most common sense thing that I could not figure out was go behind the idiot. He turns slow when he's doing shit. So I died a few times to him because I could not figure out this concept. But you can trip him up. You can get an easy hit or two if you put on the Raiden mask again, because he'll go, "What are you doing here? Hey!" And then you just shoot him. He goes, how dare you? How dare you trick me with the face of my lover?" So he pisses him off. Oh, we forgot when the people started making, because it comes up again in this fight. We forgot when everyone in your codec makes fun of Snake for being a fucking moron.
Oh my God.
They make fun of him.
The massive himbo that he is.
Because he's so in one of the caves, you go into the cave and you find these glowing mushrooms, and you go, "Hey, I found glowing mushrooms." And the lady's doing her thing about the glowing mushrooms, about how it's like whatever. He goes, "So you mean if I eat this, it'll recharge my batteries?" And she's like, "No, what the fuck? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, it's the mushroom.
Yeah, cool. It'll recharge your batteries, I guess. Whatever, cool."
She puts her hand over the microphone and talks to the gun guy and was like, he just asked if these mushrooms will recharge his electronic devices.
And he's like, "That's not how any of this works."
And the guy's like, "I don't know, just tell him it does. He's an idiot."
So
no. You call her, she tells you you're a fucking idiot, and then you do it anyway, and it works. And then he calls back to tell her, and that's when she's like, how did that work? And the other is like, he's basically an orc.
Yeah.
You know, as long as he
you eat the mushroom and it actually recharges your batteries. So if you call her back immediately like, "Hey, thanks for that advice. It charged my batteries." And she's like, "What the fuck? No, it didn't. No, it didn't, you moron." And she says it to the other people there, and they're like, "Dude, I don't know. Just leave him alone. He's special." So point being that if you get to this fight and you throw out one of these mushrooms because he's confused phosphorescence with electrical capabilities, it actually draws the electrical boss's electrical attack to where the mushroom is, so you can also get in a few extra hits. Because Snake's like, "This is electrical," and somehow it works. He just he enforces his will on the universe, and it just fucking works. So you defeat this dude. You've set up everything to blow up in like 5 fucking minutes or whatever. And you go through it and you're starting to leave, and action movie being action movie, Eva shows up with her fucking her motorcycle. So like, "Yeah, let's get out of here." Yeah, which now has a sidecar. Because remember, the reason why she could kickflip was because it was such a strong motorcycle. It's supposed to have a sidecar. She doesn't have a sidecar, so she can kickflip with it. But now she has a sidecar for you to sit in. And then the game's like, "Yeah, we got to do an escape sequence." So it just gives you unlimited ammunition in all your weapons because Snake puts on his bandana. And you just start laying into shit. And then the dude, the boss, Volgan, hops in Shagohod and just drives it out of the nuclear hangar that's collapsing and exploding around him. And he's like, "I'm going to run you over now." So you have to start shooting at the Shagohod in the sidecar of a motorcycle that's driving around an airport as you're also getting surrounded by all these other dudes. But if you don't kill them, he runs them over because he's like, "Get the fuck out of my way, idiots. I'm here to kill them." So he's killing his own dudes. You're killing him. You're killing the dudes. There's this massive fucking thing. And you come up with this idea that you got to get to you got to get over this bridge to shoot some C4 to take out the bridge to destroy the Shagohod when it goes over it. And I fucked this up because I couldn't figure out how to look through the scope. There's 2 things you have to shoot, and I popped one without using the scope, and I could not figure out how to do the second one. So we ended up figuring out how to do that. And you blow up the bridge, and it goes down. The Shagohod goes down, and it screams Godzilla style, because of course
It does. And
As
that's
it's like-
phase 2.
yeah, as it's scrabbling as it falls down. And apparently what he did is he decided to cut off the back end of the Shagohod like a fucking
rocket
like a
booster.
rocket booster. He cuts all that off so that the front half is suddenly super strong and like just jumps over the bridge now. And now you have to fight that part of the Shagohod just as yourself. It involves shooting rockets into his knee joints.
His drills.
His drills, that's what I meant. Yeah, his drills.
And then go around behind him and shoot him in his ass.
Yep. So then you blow that up, and he's finally dead-ish, because he's like, oh, fuck you. He hops out of the damn thing, gets on top of it, and uses his electromagnetism to summon the cables from inside the vehicle and wrap it around himself like they're sentient snakes. And he can send electrical impulses down it to control it. And this is like the part 3 kind of a thing.
Right.
Because of course it is. And then you beat him. And then Eve's like, we got to run. So you start leaving. And there's a chase sequence. You got to shoot people again. End of a Metal Gear game. Got to have that chase sequence. So you go down this chase sequence. A lot of people. You kill them. And then she gets stabbed by a tree because she fell off the damn the bike.
Yep.
Yeah, how to use a
As you
stationary
do.
gun to kill him. But
Oh,
so-
yeah. Yeah, we did do that.
You had to use a stationary gun to shoot him on top. But this is the part I did not remember that fucked all of us up. Suddenly, you're like, hey, we're a mile from the beach, and I've got to
Frank is a
escort.
dwarf flat
I've
on
got to
his back,
escort
with a mug in one
Eva to
hand,
the beach.
a hammer and a hat.
So
Rogran be its
you
name,
have
for
to
it
do
is
a
quite
button,
fat.
which literally means come to where I am. I thought it was follow mode. So I'd click the button and just walk off and then turn around and she was getting killed. Like I game over it a few times because she wouldn't fucking move. So when I finally figured out the mechanic and I'm trying to escort her, if she sees anyone, she stops to shoot at him. And I'm like, I've got it. Move. Just move, please. Because the whole
I
thing
tell
was-
you, Formal, that I don't think I've ever seen RNG as mad as that ever.
Were you there for the original fish rant, or is that before your time?
I think that's before my time.
Strategist, is it better or worse than fish?
Well, so fish is like a thing I have. That's a thing. This, I was actually just screaming at her. Move, fucking bitch. Go. Fucking stop,
Hey.
shoot, go.
Right?
I think the rant at the end of Wrath of the Righteous might have been slightly worse.
Yeah, I'll give you
but
that
only
one.
just slightly.
The Wrath of the Righteous rant probably took that one. But so, and this is where we started losing everyone because this was taking a long time. You already had the high adrenaline, like, yeah, let's fucking go thing. And now you have this, like, let's drag everyone slowly through. Basically, you do the first 3 or 4 maps you did in the game, you do them again, but backwards while
Yep.
doing an escort quest because you got to
And
get
it's
to where you got on.
Fucking slog.
It's obnoxious. Unlimited enemies. They're trying to track you down. This bitch won't stop shooting. You finally get to the end, and they're like, oh, we're getting on a plane or whatever. Cool. And then throughout this, you've been interrupted like 4 or 5 times by Eva trying to tell you the boss's story because she's like, the
Yeah.
boss saved me. This is
It's
what
all
she feels.
exposition.
And like, it's like, lady, we got to get the fuck out of here. According to the story, we're about to get fucking nuclear bombed for like the 3rd time because Snake is definitely irradiated. Like, we've got to fucking go. So she
Why the
keeps
balls are so big.
she keeps
Cancer.
interrupting the pace of the game to tell you this. And you get to the end, and it's like, oh, the boss is in this field of flowers and you got to fight her. You just have to. So then we fight her. It takes a bit. It's like a weird close quarters fight sneaky thing. So what I just did is I just kept hiding in the flowers and sniping her in the face when she couldn't find me. I was like, I'm not fighting you. Screw you. So we end up beating her. And then she has this entire spiel, which I will go back to in a second, because her entire spiel is literally the central plot point. This like couple of minutes of her talking is the reason why all the Metal Gear games exist in lore, is her talking to Snake. And he was so much of a himbo, he doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. So he never told anyone the message correctly. So there's 3 different ways to interpret her message, and that's what creates all the problems and all the Metal Gears, is because this lady tried to tell Snake like her meaning of life and he couldn't figure out what the fuck she was talking about. He's just too fucking stupid. Again, we'll come back to what that was actually about. But you finally beat her. You get on the damn plane. You go to fucking take off. Oh, we got some extra weight or something. Revolver Ocelot reveals he's on the plane because he wants that duel. No, he's not on the plane. He rides an anti-gravity bike thing over to the plane. And then he hops on. He's like, we got to have our duel. And he flips his guns around again. He goes, choose one. We're going to have a fight. You choose one. You get it. You shoot him. It's filled with blanks. He's like, I just wanted to see who would have actually had the shot. Whatever. Cool story, bro. And then he like flips the double guns and just jumps out of a moving plane and lands in the water and like fucking ricochets around and dies or some shit for all we know. I mean, we know he lives, but like, it's like, how did you survive that? But whatever.
And that's Ocelot?
Yeah, it's Revolver Ocelot. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know he's a cat, so he always lands on his feet. Strategist, come on.
So you get to the end, and then Snake, you know, he gets the action movie ending where he gets the girl and they get a nice cabin.
Fireplace, fucking
fireplace,
polar bear rug, all
polar
that
bear
shit.
rugs. You know, he has himself an evening. He's like, yeah, I fucking saved the day. And then he wakes up and she's left a message for him while he was sleeping. And she's like, oh yeah, by the way. So at this point, we've gone through 5 or 6 massive exposition dumps. So her big reveal was at the wrong time for anyone to really care. But the reveal was she's not Agent Eve. You're supposed to be looking for Agents Adam and Eve, who are CIA operatives. She's like, I'm not Eve. I don't know who that was, or, you know, whatever. I actually work for China. I work for fucking China. I'm a third party to all of this. I only wanted to. Of course,
there's a third party.
Yeah, she's like, I only wanted to help you get the Philosopher's Legacy, which I can explain in a bit. The Philosopher's Legacy, so I could take it back for my masters in China. So yeah, you know, I really do like you and all, but you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. Deuces. So she takes the microfilm. That, by the way, throughout the game, 4 times Volgin keeps telling everyone where the microfilm is. Every time we were like, why are you fucking telling people? He keeps being like, here it is. I put it underneath my pillow when I sleep. It's in my boot right now. I'm literally holding it in front of you. And like every NPC, every scene he does that is clearly like, oh, there it is. Like every single person zooms in on his hand. Like clearly they're all agents, bro. I don't know why you're this stupid. But then
he's like Snidely Whiplash.
Then we get to the end of the game where there's a post-credit scene and it's revolved. It's revealed. It's revealed that Revolver Ocelot was like a triple agent the entire time. Surprise. And he's the one. He stole the microfilm from you when you were dueling him on the plane or some shit. So the microfilm that Eve just stole is a fake one, and he's got the real one. That's kind of okay, though, because it's revealed the whole time that Revolver Ocelot was helping you. His real name is something Adamska. He's Adam. He was the CIA operative the whole time.
And I fucking called that at the very beginning of the game, and I was so sad it was real.
Yep.
I think I'm going to write or maybe make a video essay about Metal Gear Solid. Or I'm sorry, Metal Gear, the franchise. It's the fucking Fast and Furious of shitposts.
So
they all have the same general plot premises.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like, you could really get into it and all of the nerds will be like, well, actually, it's just a shitpost. It's just a shitpost. Like, sure, you can stare into the abyss and do that. Like, sure, Skyrim has 46,000 books in it. Nobody's going to fucking read it. Nobody other than the turbo dweebs are going to get this shit. It's just a fucking shitpost. It's tactical espionage combat. Why do we play Metal Gear? Tactical espionage combat. Why do we watch fucking Fast and the Furious? I don't know. I don't watch it. But I assume people watch it for hot girls and cars. Why do we play Metal Gear? Hot girls and guys peeing in lockers. I don't know. They're the same fucking thing. They're the same fucking thing. And people argue that they're fucking art when, like, that's art's up to interpretation. But I'm sorry. Metal Gear is just the shitpost turbo nerd version of fucking Fast and the Furious. Changed my mind.
If you gotta have good art, you gotta have bad art.
So I'm
not
not going to
saying it's
change
bad.
your
I'm
mind
just
on
saying.
it. I'm not going to change your mind on it, but I'm going to reveal like the thing the game was trying to tell you at the end. So there is actually one character in the entire series who's not a shitpost, and that's Boss. But they don't tell you any of it until the end of Metal Gear 3 when you're already tired from hearing people tell you shit. So like this is what like not like 100% like this is why everyone's like 3's the best. 3's got a good story, and it's because the actual crux of all the stories of all the Metal Gears happens in like the last 20 minutes of Metal Gear Solid 3, right after you're tired of hearing anyone talk. So here's been the big legit plot the entire fucking time. It turns out.
Before do you do this, strategist? Before you do this, can I respond to chat?
Sure.
Sorry. So no Vorp. I'm saying that I'm not explaining this very well. I'm sorry. Fast and the Furious, garbage. It's not art. But in the same way that like Spaceballs is a good movie, even though it's a bad movie, like does that make sense? Like it's a shit post.
It's a good shit post. Yeah, it's an artistic shit post.
Like Metal Gear is the shittiest shit post, but because it's a shit post and being bad is what makes it good. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to say it's so bad it's good. I'm saying it has an objective and it achieves that objective very well.
In the
which is something that,
goofiest
like,
manner
Fast and the Furious
possible. Yeah.
doesn't. Exactly.
So here's supposed to be the big takeaway, and this is going to come in a couple segments. The only legit character from all these game series is Boss. So if you recall, Naked Snake, who becomes Big Boss, was taught how to do shit by Boss. So she's the joy. Her big emotion was the joy of combat and stuff like that. For some reason, and just this thing they kept revealing at the end for some reason. For some reason,
the fucking C-section
she
scar.
was pregnant
Oh my God.
with the Sorrow's child. And her entire special forces were sent to take out the Nazis on D-Day, even though she was pregnant and she gave birth on the beach at Normandy.
Apparently, the baby burst out like a fucking xenomorph.
Like
Because
Like fucking
the scar?
Athena out of Zeus's skull, but like out of the uterus.
No, because it spring forth is not the way I would describe what happened.
she has a massive scar when she opens her shirt. She has a massive scar across. She's like, I had a C-section, and this scar is from like fucking. It looked like she was
But based
like
on
a
her
chest
neck,
burster.
like,
Wouldn't that have
exploded
been a
out.
D-section?
It was from her neck all the way down. It wrapped around her entire torso. It was a massive scar. Yeah, it ran down her entire torso and abdomen for a C-section. It looked like she was autopsied.
It looked like a Legend of Zelda explodable wall.
Yeah.
I perfectly did.
And she's like,
That
look,
is an oddly
look at my
specific way to describe that, Radu, and I know exactly what it looks like now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on Twitch.
Yeah. But the funny thing though is she reveals this. She's like, look at my C-section scar. And it's like, lady, someone lied to you. I'm sorry.
She does a fucking slow cleavage reveal to show you with a fucking zipper.
It's like when your buddy goes in for like an endoscopic surgery and you're like, no, dude, I don't know what surgeon you went to, but you might want to check how many kidneys you have.
yeah.
Also, Vorp, I didn't take offense to how you said that. I knew you were shitposting. I just doubled down on the joke. You're good.
But anyways, so this is the whole point of this is threefold, because this is about to wrap around. One, she's super loyal to America. She's picked who her horses ride or die. It's America, no matter what. Part two is there's the whole story. This is also the prequel story to explain who the Patriots and shit are. They may have they took her child from her, like her baby was kidnapped from her on Normandy, because the Patriots had agents there to kidnap her baby on the beaches of Normandy. I don't fucking know. But anyways, point is, she's like, hey, America keeps fucking doing horrible shit to me, and I'm really loyal to them. And I need you to understand why. Because also, she wasn't supposed to have a baby. She was really the first person in space, but they fucked up coming back or something. So they're like, well, it wasn't perfect, so I didn't get credit. Like, literally, she's like, everything that you think anyone's ever done, I legit was more badass and did it first because I love America that much. is what she's going. She's like, you have to choose who you're loyal to, because after World War II, me and my friends, the Cobra unit, we all went to our different countries and everyone started fighting each other. So we were friends one day and we were enemies the next. And you have to figure out how to live on the battlefield and wrap your mind around this concept of like, who are you truly loyal to? What do you do for all this? Now,
it was really weirdly inspiring.
yeah, like I said, now the crazy thing about this, what this is all getting to is, remember, it's like, well, you're nuking people and betraying America. What are you talking about? No, she never betrayed America. What was supposed to happen, the original mission, you were an idiot who was supposed to be there as a witness. Nothing was supposed to happen there. She was supposed to betray America, give Volgin
Wait,
some
I'm
of
sorry. When you say the original mission,
the first mission.
like when you say the first mission, like in this game or in, like Shadow Moses?
No.
No.
I'm
In
sorry,
this
Shadow
game,
Moses.
there
this
was-
game.
I'm sorry.
There was
Yes,
the
I'm with you.
tutorial level at the very beginning.
Yeah, when Volgin nukes
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
That was called Operation Virtuous or something like that.
Yeah, getting Sokolov.
Yeah, getting Sokolov. So a whole point of that was, as you were getting Sokolov back, she was going to fuck up your mission and give him the nukes and shit so that she could get in with Volgin. Because during World War II, all the top rich people from America, Russia, and China formed the Wiseman Committee and secretly like fucking funneled money from all over the world and had billions in like the 1940s or some shit in a secret bank account. But after World War II, everyone split up, so everyone wanted their money back, but only like Volgin's grandfather was the accountant. So he like just hid all the fucking money. So literally all the big people in the world knew that there was one piece out there in the ocean somewhere, and only Volgin had the fucking information for it. So she was like, I had to willingly become the traitor so I could get in and get this fucking money and then bring it back to America. And it would all be hush hush, right? Like you would be explained to afterwards. But Volgin fucking nuked the facility.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, this is
They
suddenly
didn't
become...
expect him to be such a psychopath.
Yeah, so this is a public mission now. Russia knows we're doing shit here.
Gotcha.
So she had to change her mission. So she was faking being a traitor, but she's like, I now need to be a traitor. Because the new person to get the mission money was going to have to be you. They weren't going to let her leave. So
Yeah, they had to blame her so that they could write off the thing.
Yeah,
And, get back
and she
in there.
willingly accepted this because this is what was going to make America win and be great and stuff.
This is the best thing she could do for her country.
Yes.
And so she willingly is the scapegoat. Gotcha.
Yeah. So she's like, without an ounce of doubt, she's like, willingly, I'm the scapegoat, so on and so forth. But also, you know, as things are going on, she's kind of like, it's like, why aren't you just killing him? She's slowly feeding her friends and shit to you. Because if she can't be the boss for America, there needs to be a boss. There needs to be a big boss. So, you know, she's like, oh, I kept telling my dudes where you were. That's why they're fighting you one at a time. She literally sacrificed all of her friends to you for you to take the role that she was doing.
It was actually a really good explanation for why you fight them one at a time.
Yeah. Like, she's like...
So basically, let me repeat this back to you. So she has all of her friends in Cobra, or not, Cobra, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Cobra.
Yeah, okay. For some reason that seemed wrong because G.I. Joe.
God.
So you're saying that she's like so loyal to America that she's basically setting up her friends to get their ass whooped by you so that America can win after she's the traitor being an inside man.
Yep.
Yes. As well as
Like-
setting you up to be like the new her.
Gotcha. It's like sending them one at a time into the bear cave so that the bear can kill them because they're bad people, and then you get to be the big bear.
Essentially.
That was a
Seriously,
very
if you-
Alaskan
if-
analogy.
So,
if you fought the bee guy and the sniper guy at the same time, you were fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to
Gotcha.
you get to this thing, and she apparently immediately figured out Eva was a fucking fake agent, because also Eva pointed out to you, she's like, by the way, the Codebreakers were both males. Why did no one in your crew tell you that I was male? Like, when you told them you were talking to me and I had tits, why did no one say that doesn't make sense? Like, she literally calls out America. She's like, how little do they think of you? Are you retarded?
right?
She straight up almost, she calls you on. But anyways, so this is what she was doing. And this comes down to this duel you have to do at the end. She goes, here's the thing though. In order to fully cement this picture, either I kill you as vengeance for my friends and I be the big bad to rally America against, or you kill me to be the great hero that America will rally behind. One of us is not leaving this flower field. One of us has to kill each other. So that's why, like, she literally like goes all the way through and you fucking kill her and shit. And then her tattoo becomes a snake and slithers away somehow. Her scars, I mean, her C-section scar turns into a snake and slithers away after you've killed her because get it, snake, you're a snake, so on and so forth. So you become the title of Big Boss.
You've had a couple of magic mushrooms along the way.
But now here's my point. During all this, she's telling you, like at the very end on her deathbed, like, she's trying to tell you all of this. Like, hey, this is you killed me. Congratulations, with great power comes great responsibility. This is your new job. You need to understand this is your job. You have to, you can't be making friends. You have, what are you loyal to? Decide now what you're loyal to. Because if you're going to continue this mission you're picking up my mission, you better understand what that is and actually do it. You have to follow through on this. But she's talking to Snake, who's a fucking himbo, and does not understand this at all. Like, this clearly is just bouncing off a brick wall, like, I killed you, I get good score. Right. So she does not fucking understand any of this at all. So you get through all this. Like I said, she's like, we were joking in two, like, hey, you can't write good characters. It's literally her. Boss is the only good female character written in the entire game series. Right. And you don't get to learn the story except in like 3 exposition dumps in the last 20 minutes. Where you're like, holy shit, that is impressive.
And to be clear, it all boils down to, it doesn't matter what you're loyal to, stick with it and be loyal to that.
Yeah.
That's the message that she was trying to get across, and he couldn't get it.
He can't get it. So this isn't really a spoiler or anything, but this is so you understand the factions going ahead. Sure. You have what Solid Snake is doing, or as you see here, Big Boss. He keeps trying to create a mercenary group. He's like, well, if countries split up and your friends aren't your friends anymore, in order to stay with your men, because you're loyal to your men, then you should just be mercenaries and only be loyal to money. That way, you don't feel bad if you're fighting each other because they were hired by a different group. Like, you just know they're in my group, so they're good. If they hired you to be separate, well, then they hired you to be separate. You know they're enemies because they're getting paid to be your enemy. So Snake's legit idea out of all of that is to be like, we shouldn't have any patriotism. We should all be mercenaries. That's his fucking take on that.
He basically takes the opposite take, and that's why in, I'm going to reference MGS5 Phantom Pain, because that's the one that I know about that takes place after this. That's why that idea sounds really dumb. No, that's a prequel to all of this. No, it's not.
No, it's not. 3 is first.
No, this is canonically, I think, the first in the series.
Yes. Okay. So after that, and he's doing all of this mercenary stuff and being Iroquois Pliskin.
Yeah.
It's him missing the message.
Yep. The whole thing.
Metal Gear 5 is like the second.
How the fuck did you go from Tokyo Drift to fucking what's the fucking Inglourious Bastards, fucking the Quentin Tarantino? How'd you pull that around?
That's right? The goofy thing is there's a couple characters nowhere near as good as the boss, but there are a couple characters throughout the series. If you actually go back and read what the fuck just happened, because it's not presented real well, there are really good characters in the game series. They're just not ever presented well, or they're presented in exposition at the end of a game where you're like, I'm too fucking tired to keep track of this now. That's the problem.
Fucking tragedy.
So he got that. Now here's the thing: the guy he was working for, Zero. I'm not going into anything about him at all because he does come up in other games, so that'd be spoiler. Right. But needless to say, what he got out of it when Snake told him the story, he was like, "Oh, she means that she was so fucking patriotic and loyal to America that you must do anything to help America, no matter what." In some of the games, Zero is like fucking nuking and destroying African like villages and shit just so he can sell American arms to people. He becomes the arms dealer basically because he's like, give them all the tools, they'll kill themselves, America's better. That's what he got out of it because Snake, again, did not convey anything right. So he's like, oh, you got to be a bad guy to help America. And that's how Zero comes out with this. And then there's a third faction who kind of doesn't really entirely exist, like half exists in Metal Gear 5 and like one of the other games, but they can kind of be ignored. But like literally, once we go through all the games and you figure out who's actually what characters in different games, suddenly literally the game starts like going from chaotic mess to aligning perfectly in what is essentially a philosophical civil war between Big Boss and literally anyone else who hasn't spoken to Big Boss about what the fuck does loyalty mean. And that's like the entire game comes around that one conversation where he's too much of a fucking himbo to understand what's happening.
The only person that gets it,
the concept. Go ahead. Sorry.
The only person that gets it though is Ocelot. Like he picks his side and just like, okay, you know what? I'm about this. And he just goes through it and you see and you start thinking back on the other two games and you're like, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Literally the one person who understood her message perfectly is Ocelot. He's always a double, triple, quadruple agent, but at the end of the day, every fucking time, there's a message where he talks to someone working for America. Revolver Ocelot.
And the idea with the Patriots, because I want to be sure I'm not pulling a Snake Himbo movement, is they are the idea of sometimes you have to, like, they are so Team America.
No, I just want to interrupt that. Yeah. So remember, there was the they weren't called the Patriots. They were called the something else.
The Wiseman Council.
The Wiseman Council of the something legacy, the Philosopher's Legacy or something. Yeah. So the world went during WW2 when it was united with all this money. The Chinese, the Russian, and the American super secret money manipulate everything people. They were called the Philosophers. And the top 13, the top 14 or whatever for the whole world was the Wiseman Committee. But after World War II, they started splitting up. And after Metal Gear Solid 3, you've given all the money and all the control to the American ones. So they have now split off from the Russian and Chinese ones. And that group now calls themselves the Patriots. So they're just the American branch of the Illuminati is all that is.
Gotcha. Okay. But you have these, I guess I understand this. I'm just trying. So you have this idea of loyalty. You have the Illuminati who's doing what they think is best for America by actually controlling America, manipulating it, and having like shadow presidents and stuff, and money, I guess.
This does get slightly confusing. The Patriots tend to work with one or the other side of that philosophical civil war, like depending upon the game. But the real thing to understand about the Patriots is they are technically a different organization who just wants to rule the world from the shadows. So
they don't have anything to do with America other than like they have access to America's military assets.
Yes, they are using the American military to do their shit. Yeah. Some games, they're basically backing Big Boss and his team. And some games, they're backing the anti-Big Boss team. It's just whatever ends up fueling them. Now, the great glorious thing to the entirety of the end of Metal Gear 3, there is a codec call that I missed, which unfortunately means it's not on the stream. There's a codec call where you call up someone, I think it's Eva, and you're talking about Revolver Ocelot and about like what he's doing or like the Patriots or something like that. And she points out, she's like, yeah, he's just always been really into war and combat and stuff like that. It runs in his blood. You know, legend says that he was born on the beaches of Normandy to some random woman who was just on the beach for no fucking reason. And ever since then, he's been doing a ton of shit. So they don't ever say it directly, but Big Boss chose Snake as her, you know, surrogate child, basically, to impart her ideology on, and he fucks it up. Meanwhile, listening is Revolver Ocelot, who is, in fact, her actual biological child that went missing, and he's the only one that got her mission right. except he just keeps working in the shadows. So, like, there's also this entire other tier of all of this of her. She's actually succeeded in the one thing she wanted to do and got her message to her child. I'm doing an air quote here, but she just didn't understand that her biological child was essentially listening in and actually understanding, as opposed to the philosophical child that she raised herself. So Revolver Ocelot is actually the one doing her will and is her child.
And Ocelot knows this.
He does not know this.
Nope. And I don't think it's ever. Well, I don't know about other games, but it's not revealed ever.
It is never revealed verbatim. There are actually people that argue what I just said is just made up nonsense. But you have one thing where someone who doesn't know about her says he was born on Normandy and talks about like a woman with a massive fucking like scar on her or whatever. And then she reveals that she's a woman later who lost her child on Normandy with the scar that was previously described as the mother of Ocelot. The game's never once say that they're actually related, other than someone describes his mother and she describes her giving birth, and they happen to line up exactly right.
In the same game.
In the exact same game, yeah. This is just like, I missed a codec call, so we didn't get the other half of it in my stream.
Right.
So he's her kid. He's her kid, and he's the one that actually is doing her will, essentially, as it is. But all of these games boil down to that sort of thing of you have Big Boss and you have not Big Boss. Sometimes it's the Patriots. Sometimes maybe it's Zero. Sometimes Zero's on Big Boss's side. Sometimes it's another group. But routinely, whenever the story comes down, it's someone who's doing Big Boss's will. And if it's on Big Boss's Boss's will, not Big Boss's will. If it's Big Boss's team, they're routinely creating mercenaries because he's so fucking stupid, it's all he understood. And if it's someone who's working within America, they're routinely doing the exact opposite. And it's like, no, she wanted America to be doing this. So there's been this like division of what the hell loyalty even means. And as more characters are revealed, you'll figure out throughout the games who's actually doing what, so on and so forth. For instance, one character that because there's no intermediate position as far as I'm aware, in Metal Gear Solid 3, the dude you talk to on the radio who gives you information, his name is SIGINT. Well, in Metal Gear Solid 1, he's left and he's the head of an organization called DARPA, and he's the chief of it. Mm-hmm. So the DARPA chief that dies in Metal Gear Solid 1 is SIGINT from Metal Gear 3. So a lot of the people involved in the mission by Solid Snake's time are those evil people in government who are doing like making all the weapons and shit. Like almost everyone,
kind of funny.
Yeah, everyone involved in this mission goes on to being varying degrees of gray and destroying the world, whether or not they're intending to.
It's like one of those movies where at the very end, right before the credits, it's like, where are they now? This person did this thing. He went over here. He killed several people and had 2 childs.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand how like we get from Boss's mission to like the loyalty to like the Metal Gears and the nukes. Like, I guess, or is that like the idea of America?
So my only thing for this, my only thing, so I can explain, so without spoiling or anything, to point how this is kind of connected, is think of Solid Snake and his genetics and his legacy. I'm not saying one's actually better or not, but just let's assume this is like the Gilded legacy, right? That he is the philosophical kid of Boss and the clones made off of him. Let's assume that they're like the actual combatant mercenary legacy that is all about infantry combat. There is another family that is super fucking cursed. And this family is called the Emmerich family. And they will not stop fucking making Metal Gears.
Gotcha. So it is continuation of the dynasty to stop, or like the continuation of Boss and the dynasty of loyalty to prevent these super weapons from destroying America, basically.
Kind of. Because let me back that up. As we get from these games, even from 3, you see the seed of the idea that goes to the Emmerich family. And Huey even said like his grandfather was on the Manhattan Project, so on and so forth. So secondary to all this is literally the Emmerich family, who keeps making the nukes, who keeps making the Metal Gears, who keeps making the missiles, who keeps making the AI in the harbor of New York. The Emmerich family is literally always the one, just kind of separate, who's like, I came up with an idea for a new world-destroying weapon. And routinely, the people who are powerful enough to make use of it ends up being the Patriots and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't just have all that family members in one file titled Emmerich for everything that they keep fucking doing.
They don't really do it by themselves.
I mean, like, assembling it. His sister did it. It's Huey that doesn't do shit.
That's true.
Like, to be clear, it's Huey that doesn't do, like, technically Huey has broken his family's curse. He doesn't actually do it. He keeps getting involved, but he feels real bad about it, and he helps Snake stop them. Like, that's like literally like where this big like conjoining of the ideas comes, is that Huey is a fucking incompetent Emmerich, and he ends up feeling real bad about it. So he helps Solid Snake get rid of the Emmerich legacy. Because you have to remember, Solid Snake's not part of that fight. Yeah. Solid Snake is not part of the philosophical civil war. The philosophical civil war is what keeps causing the story in Solid Snake's games.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if it's a game
all of
about
these things are happening around, that's the setup.
Snake
and
has
then,
no clue
I
into this.
see.
And imagine getting all this exposition at the end of a 9-hour stream.
Yeah.
Logging through a fucking swamp and
if it's a
wiping
game,
out 4 bosses.
Good God, I'm sorry, Radu. That sounds like fucking torture.
If it's a game about Big Boss, because the games go back and forth. If it's a game about Big Boss, essentially the subtext is that philosophical civil war I was talking about. If it's a game about Solid Snake, the subtext is essentially about nuclear weaponry, but that one's more about Emmerich's family, kind of, about stopping the Metal Gears and shit that are his family's fault. Huey's just there to help Snake. Snake's there to be like, I'm not doing the Big Boss thing. Like, no, I'm just going to go stop you. So Solid Snake ends up throughout the games fighting both sides. In the Metal Gear series right here, he's fighting Big Boss. And Metal Gear Solid, he's fighting the other team because Big Boss is basically dead.
Gotcha.
So Snake is the chosen one to end the fighting between the Jedi and the Sith by killing everyone.
He's breaking the dynasty.
Yeah, he's
basically
breaking the dynasty, and Emmerich's helping him. But before you get to Solid Snake, the thing that causes all of the plot is this philosophical civil war that Big Boss caused by being a himbo in his games.
I swear this game series is like trying to explain T-ball to somebody, but you explain it like backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And the crazy thing is everything I just said literally suddenly reveals itself in the back half of 3. That's why everyone says 3 is their favorite, because as you were joking,
It's the one with plot.
yeah, all the games are just shit posts. 3's the one that's like, holy shit, this sounds like a respectable story. Like, if I just talk about these details, I could write a college thesis on this, as opposed to Johnny having the shit in the bathroom again.
You know what this feels like? It feels like a really terrible TV show where everything comes together in the last season,
Yeah.
and now it's a fucking work of art. But every single episode was still bad.
Yeah. That's literally what Metal Gear is. So as we get through more of these games, we're going to be literally dragging everything together into one cohesive work of art. It's just when you go through individual games, they're all shit posts. You have to go through all the shit posts for all of a sudden the shit posts to make sense.
And each one was supposed to be the last one.
And each game was supposed to be the last game, which is the most absurd part of all of this.
That's my
So
favorite
Metal
part.
Gear, the franchise, is kind of a shit post. Metal Gear 3 is the meme that the shit posts are based off of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with you now.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Metal
That's
Gear
really
Solid
interesting.
3 is or Snake Eater is the OC. Everything
Yes.
else are just reposts.
yeah. So, like, I don't know where you get it or in which Metal Gear, but like the reasoning behind this one is that Big Boss is essentially Outer Heaven is his mercenary group. He's one like out heaven for all the mercenaries, and we'll just be one thing. And he's routinely trying to make he keeps trying to get these Metal Gears and shit like that for a nuclear deterrent. Because he's like, I can't run this mercenary group just with pure infantry, because at some point any country could just nuke us off the face of the earth. So that's one of the reasons why he's always involved, like Big Boss is involved with these things, is because he's trying to enter the nuclear deterrence game. But it sounds really weird that there's a dude trying to do nuclear deterrence and not a country. So like literally that's what all this is. He doesn't want Metal Gear necessarily to be fighting people with Metal Gear. He wants Metal Gear because he's like, if I can throw a nuke from anywhere in the world, no one will throw a nuke, which means he'll have to buy mercenaries.
And that's another clever explanation for the other games in 3 is Big Boss finds out about the Metal Gears and the plans and everything. And he's like, I can get the plans from these guys.
Yeah. Like, someone already talked to him about it. He knows it exists. He saw Shagohod sucked.
But he knows it's coming. Yeah.
He knows it's
he
coming.
knows he gets a head start on like the.
Yeah.
It's like knowing about the Manhattan Project before Hiroshima happened.
After Metal Gear 3, there are 3 games of Big Boss's story. The 3 games are Peace Walker, I think Portable Ops, though I've heard arguments that that's not canon or something. I'm not sure about that one. And then there's Metal Gear 5. Metal Gear 5 is literally the game that's supposed to be the end of the Big Boss's story and the beginning of Solid Snake's story. Because the very, very end of Metal Gear 5, you can get a cutscene where you hear someone talking on a cassette, and when you turn the cassette over, it says... interdiction in 313, whatever the mission was we just did. Yeah. So literally at the end of Metal Gear 5, there is a little thing where you see someone flip over a cassette tape, and it's like a mission impossible. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. It's the mission briefing to send Snake on this mission. So there's 3 games of Big Boss, which we have not yet done. There's one more game of Solid Snake, which is Metal Gear 2. Then there's Metal Gear 4, which is that's Solid Snake wrapping this shit together. This is Solid Snake being like, this shit's done. I'm tired of you fuckers. Everyone sit in your corners and stop fighting each other because I'm tired of this shit. And then afterwards, when all of that is done, you obviously can't fix the world, even for Solid Snake. Afterwards, it's just Raiden being a cybernetic samurai ninja, being like, fuck it, I like fighting. Because fuck it, it's Raiden. Phantom Pain
We're
is
still
5.
butthurt about it.
Phantom Pain is 5. It's Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. So we will be doing 5 at some point. 5 is the last one chronologically like released, so it's gonna be the most advanced one. But like I said, technically that one's even before the game we just now did. That's the game right before Metal Gear. We're just doing Metal Gear 1 and 2 so it could give everyone a bit of a break from the philosophy and the politics at the end of every Metal Gear game. Also, I may be trying to source the PlayStation 3. Does the story hold up for it? So there's one major issue with 5. There's one major issue with 5, and it's even though Konami's releasing things again and they're doing this and they're doing good, I will always hold a bit of a negative space in my heart for Konami. Because they had their big fight with Kojima when he was doing Silent Hills, and when he was at the end of 5. So they purposely kept, they were like, okay, you don't work in the same building with your people anymore. You don't have an email anymore. They purposely kept hindering him and fucking him over. So Metal Gear 5.
You don't know that fucking story. It's wild.
You have your cutscene, but they're literally the last mission or 2 of Metal Gear 5 does not actually exist. There's a storyboard of it on the internet, but there's no actual proper like Metal Gear style ending to the end of 5. And it would have been like the final thing. Think of it like a book series. You have every book front to back, and then like for some reason book 4 is the last book made, and for some reason the publisher didn't let him release the last chapter. It's like literally, and they refuse to acknowledge it or let him fix it or finish it. So there's like one fucking critical thing in the end. And don't get me wrong, it's not like this is needed to explain anything. It's just like for closure, to see it from beginning to end. There's just one little thing in the middle that Konami is like, no, you can't do this. We're sending the game out now. It fucking pisses me off. It's taken them since then till now to even think about really coming back to Metal Gear to get some money and like to do it in a way to be like, hey, look, we'll release these games as they are. Like it's one of the, like it's a crazy thing, not going into a side thing, but a lot of people are angry that they released the Master Collection and it's clearly just a direct port of their old version, the HD Collection, because when you load up the game in the lower right, it says HD Collection. And a bunch of people are angry at it, but it's like, yo, flat out, if I was someone who's making decisions at Konami and I inherited a job, like I became the new person in the job, and I was like, how do we release these games and make money without pissing people off? I would be like, touch nothing. Release it as Hideo basically last had it. Don't get me wrong, there's some things they need to fucking fix on it, or they needed to fucking fix on it. But I can 100% understand that logic. If there's one person in that company making like a sensible decision, was like, the only way we can get any goodwill is to not touch it what it is. Release this as is, so they could drum up interest for our remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta. But yeah, so that's where we are, and that's why we're going through so many of these games in such a slightly weird order.
I'm gonna step away for a sec.
Yeah, no problem. Formal, do you have any questions?
Dude, I feel like I just got hit in the forehead by a fucking bowling ball of like dense lore nuggets. Like I just ate the lembas bread of fucking lore.
Now imagine that's 40 minutes of video of people not saying it directly, but expecting you to pick up the context clues at the end of an escort quest at the end of the high action moment. It's like really weird pacing.
Instead of asking questions, I want to take a second and say how appreciative I am that you've been able to share this franchise with me, Strategist, because I would have never gotten to see this and appreciate. I know it's not done.
Oh no, I was saying it's so good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would have never gotten to see and appreciate this art, and kind of like traveling. Like,
yeah,
I would have never gotten to see this for the beautiful thing it is. Like, not that I wouldn't have like, these aren't games I would have probably ever played, but I would have never gotten into the depth and the minutia of this and gotten to see the interesting questions that this game asks. And
yeah,
I would say that, like, I'm a big believer that video games are absolutely an artistic medium. I feel like that's a pretty, like, mild take on Twitch, but I feel like spicy. This is yeah, I know. Yeah, but I believe there, like, paintings, movies, books, video games are right in there just as good, if not better, of a medium. And I feel like this series asks some kind of, it's a shit post, but it asks some interesting questions. Yeah. And I really appreciate you bringing me in and along for the ride and that portion of the discussion. And I want to say thank you for that. Well, but also thank you for letting me talk your baby.
I just want to thank everyone for actually being here so I could show off the fucking game series. Because the problem is, if let's pretend, right? Let's pretend that you guys haven't, like, I wasn't streaming this. You guys weren't here for any of the games or anything, and it was just me talking one day. It would sound insane. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, half of this doesn't work if you don't see, like, some of the jank gameplay mechanics. If you don't see the way it presented the cinematics. If you don't go through all the jokes. Because if I'm retelling it, I'm just going to say the major plot points. I'm not going to be like, though, you're not going to be able to experience how it fucking happened. Which I think is one of the issues. Like, there's not an argument, but you'll routinely hear people make fun of Kingdom Hearts and its stupid storyline, and then people will hit back and be like, what about Metal Gear Solid and its stupid fucking storyline? And it's like, these are not the same. Kingdom Hearts, every new game just kind of adds in more things, and it's just like a weird thing attached to it. Somehow Metal Gear can release a game and it takes it from a shitpost to art. Kingdom Hearts releases a new game and it's like there's just more nonsense plot. These are not the same. Like, one of these works retroactively, one of these doesn't. And I don't think you can truly experience that if you're just reading the plot points. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It really goes to show that video games are not comprised. Like, if you have a video game, I'm going to reference Fallout New Vegas, but like if you have Fallout New Vegas, right? It's a very good story, kind of shit gameplay, right? In my opinion, one of the greatest video games of all time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty mild opinion as well, right? So,
wait,
but
side thing.
because
Side thing. Hold on to your thought. Think in your head. Hold on to your thought. Did you know that the people who did Vegas keep sending out a thing every year or every other year asking to do another one and they get told no every time?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out, like, we could have that greatness again, but they keep being told no. Continue.
It makes me so sad.
Right?
Like Fallout New Vegas struggles in the gameplay department. Like the gunplay is kind of meh, the movement's meh, you know. But the story and other things carry it, and I feel like this is a game where the Metal Gear franchise. Yeah, Clutch. I'm not trying to say that it's absolute hot garbage, but it's nothing fantastic. It's not the best game of all time worthy gameplay, but other aspects of it, of the world and the world building and the role playing aspects and stuff, bring that game up. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing in that, yes, the story is nonsense, but at its core, it has a lot of heart, and you can tell the people who make this game really care about it. The gameplay of it, like, serviceable, solid. Sometimes it's utter fucking bullshit. But we get through that because, at its heart, this is obviously, like, a game that was made with love and care, and people really care about it as a piece of art. And I think that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Also, a quick side thing that Vorplim reminded us of that none of us remembered. During the escort scene with Eva, you actually they expand the medical things, so you have to treat her wounds too. And there's a feature where you can see your previous injuries, and you can see that Eva's tits are fake. She has it under a previous treatment in the medical menu if you go all the way down, where it's like she got breast implants. That was just a detail they put in the game for some reason.
DHC, you were the first person to ever, in my 5 years of saying that joke and streaming, to say thank you for listening to one of my TED Talks. And I want you to know that I see you and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful 2024. Like, do you want to come to my wedding? Like,
now, I will say, because there's some games I've not been bringing up. There's like Metal Gear Snake's Revenge. That was done by Konami without Hideo's thing, so it's routinely not considered canon. And after they kicked Hideo Kojima out, they wanted to do another game on the Metal Gear Solid 5 engine. So they made Metal Gear Survive. And they tried to crowbar that into the story of 5, and everyone was like, say that to my face. Say that to my fucking face. How dare you? How dare you try to stand where he once stood, you son of a bitch.
That also brings up an interesting detail where the person that really usurped Kojima was a pachinko guy.
Yeah. After they kicked out Kojima and shit, that's where they went with Metal Gear Solid. They fucking they redid a bunch of the games with new graphics for pachinko machines. You can find super high def cinematics, not super, but you can find high def cinematics of Metal Gear Solid 3 scenes that look like real actors and shit because they did it for a pachinko machine. That's why they kicked out Hideo, as they did pachinko machines.
Yeah.
my boy, look what they did to my boy.
Right, everyone's like, what the
so
fuck
dirty.
is wrong with you? It's so fucked.
THC, I'm not actually getting married. That was just an expression, but that's fucking hilarious.
The real fucking twist of the knife, by the way, when they were splitting up with Kojima, he won awards. They won awards at the Video Game Awards, and you can find it on YouTube. They're like, tons of people had this clip going around where they announced that it won, but the Video Game Awards were like, Hideo Kojima is unable to be here to accept it. And then the dude who's doing like the announcing, Dorito Pope, I'm forgetting his name right now, flat out was like, because we've heard word from the company that he's not allowed. Like straight, they're like, he can't be here, and it's not his choice. Like the video game awards called out Konami. They were like, we'd love to present this award tonight, but Konami said he doesn't deserve it. And then that was the announcement. It's like, oh, they straight up called them out. Konami lost so much money really fast that they pulled out of the New York Stock Exchange. They fucking were like, nope, deuces. They pulled out of the New York Stock Exchange, and because that gentleman like called out Konami and shit, Kojima put him in Death Stranding. He's one of the NPCs you deliver to.
That's awesome.
The announcer dude who is like, fuck Konami, basically. He's in Death Stranding. Which is so fucked. The people in charge of Konami are fucking insane. I don't understand.
Oh yeah, the Pachinko guy I mentioned, he was the president of something I can't remember. He came up through mobile games, and they were taking the Konami company in that direction. So that him and Kojima were butting heads because he was at the time the most famous like game person in the company. And they wanted microtransactions for everything.
And he was like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that's the guy that basically pushed him out and everything. They have a whole big facility here in Vegas for nothing except gambling machines, fucking slot machines.
Yeah.
They took the entire company that way.
By the way, Metal Gear Solid 5 has some microtransactions, and 6 was designed around microtransactions as well. I don't know what the fuck was going. They were stupid. I don't understand why you do that. Remember, they had him working on Silent Hills. He did a thing called PT, playable trailer. It's a relatively short fucking playable trailer, and that generated so much fucking hype for Silent Hills. And when they got rid of him, they cut ties to that game as well. And it's like one of the few, if only, games that had this happen. They went to Sony and they were like, remove that from everyone's account. No one's allowed to download playable trailer again. There's a reason why PlayStation 3s with PT on it, at least for a while, were going for a good.
Was that game? Oh fuck! Is that the game with the house that was super spooky and trippy?
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
That was done by Kojima. That's a Kojima game.
This makes so much sense now.
Kojima was going to go into horror games. He was working with, I think, Guillermo del Toro. He was going into horror games.
Oh, yeah.
And Konami fucked it up so much, especially when they broke up with him or whatever. They were like, nope, get rid of the game. Sony delete it from everyone's accounts. No one's allowed to download this again. You can't get it anymore. Guillermo del Toro swore off making games after that. He was like, nope, I'm not dealing with it. Fucking game companies are too fucking stupid, man. I'm not doing this anymore. Straight up, like they burned every bridge they could to get rid of Kojima. It was fucking weird. What about PlayStation 4? Oh, PT wasn't on PlayStation. Was it also on PlayStation 4? I mean, PT was on PS4. It was on PS4. I've got the wrong game. You were completely right.
What am I
That one's
missing
on
with
PS4.
PT?
Huh?
What am I missing with PT? What's PT?
PT is okay. So that spooky house, that's PT.
Yeah.
The reveal was that it was Silent Hills, right? But
Gotcha.
Literally different regions of the world had different information in their game in different languages. So everyone had to go on the internet like a giant ARG to go around to figure out how to solve the game. When you downloaded it
ARGs, ARGs.
Yeah. So when you downloaded it, it was just P.T. And no one knew what the fuck it meant. It was done by like Moby Dick Studios. It was just called PT. And then when you got to the end of it, they did this thing and they revealed Silent Hills playable trailer, and the PT became playable trailer, obviously. So it's Silent Hills, but it's also known as PT. So in your file was PT, so Konami had to tell PlayStation to get rid of PT, even though it was Silent Hills.
That's awful.
Yeah, like that split up was just fucking crazy and bad and not good. But yeah, and it's like just a side thing. It's like one of the reasons why I'm trying to have to get to a fucking proper PS3 is because Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, was one of the later games released for PS3, and it pushed it to its limit. Like, PS3s are kind of hard to fucking emulate because of the blast processing and all the parallel fucking shit going on in it. And Metal Gear would, like, overheat your PS3s. Like Metal Gear 4 went like fucking ham. It's just a couple of set pieces. Like for Metal Gear 4, it's just a couple of set pieces where there's already a war getting involved. Like there's just two sides fighting and Snake's got to get his way through. And sometimes that involves joining one side or the other to be like, okay, I need this battlefront to move. Like, it's weird. Though I might be making it sound a bit bigger than the levels really were, but routinely you can actually update the status of a level by helping, say, the local revolutionaries try to fight off the fucking enhanced soldiers and shit. Except for fire. For some reason, the fire in that game looked like shit. I don't know why. But yeah, everyone's also anticipating that will finally be coming to PlayStation, to Steam. Because everything we're doing here is Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Part 1. And they included a lot of games in Part 1. So everyone's like, how much can you be putting into Part 2? So there's like this is a bad idea of what's in Part 2, and this is what would be a good idea in Part 2. But on their website and some of the Steam links or whatever, they found like references to 4 and 5. Or not 5, but 4 and something else. So everyone's like, wait, are they like, whoever is starting to like make decisions, everyone's like, are they really remaking 4? Like, cause like that's the one game that hasn't ever been like remade or transitioned off. If they do that, like that would be fucking crazy. Also, maybe fix the fire a little bit, just saying. But like I said, the big issue with remaking it would just be the parallelization. But with what their new trailers for 3 look fucking sexy. They basically are just remaking 3 in the Metal Gear Solid 5 engine. People were complaining that he's a bit slow compared to like some animations, but it's like you couldn't do Metal Gear Solid 5 if you couldn't do Venom Snake running around in Metal Gear 3 because he runs too fast. If you did actual Metal Gear 5 engine, this game would be over in 15 minutes. Metal Gear 3 would. He would just fucking book it through every level before anyone could know what was happening. Because he runs fast. The decision to charge $30 for Ground Zeroes wasn't Kojima's decision, I think. Well, Ground Zeroes was, I believe, initially like the first level, the first world area of Metal Gear 5. Which, by the way, technically that should be in the list. There is a Ground Zeroes. There's like a sub part of the game before the game. The game has 2 maps. Metal Gear 5 has 2 maps. There's a third map that was released as a standalone called Ground Zeroes. And you're invading Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, that's crazy.
By the way, let me just drop that shit. One of these games is just fucking Big Boss invading Guantanamo Bay because he's like, I'm going to get my peeps back. Fuck you, America. And it's a pretty good game. Well, like I said, we're going to have to get to it. Is there any questions, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes, reservations, so on and so forth? From anyone
for this Metal Gear or about
this
anything?
Metal Gear, the series. If you got a question, and I don't think it will spoil if I answer, I'll answer it.
No, I'm cool waiting.
Okay.
For the next thing, we went over this before, so I guess the question is posed to the fancy formal Blizzard.
Formal and or Panda.
I mean, I feel pretty good. I actually feel like I understand what the hell's going on.
Sweet.
then RNG has done his correct job for now.
I have done what I can. I was told yesterday. Yesterday, I was trying to look for who to rate at the end of it. I rated Radu because Radu is doing the thing with me. So Radu's who we raid. But someone did point out yesterday that I was rated by someone. Who was it? Are they on right now? And we will try to. Who?
You were rated by Killadrix, but I don't know if they're on right now.
Not anymore.
Are they not on right now? Bummer.
No.
They're not on right now.
All right.
Deep's on, Blue Zest is on, Clayborn's on,
Sal's on.
Sal's on.
I'm seeing we have someone doing
I have
Resident
someone on.
What's up?
You go.
I was gonna say I see Adrian doing Resident Evil Village. Because everyone else has got like above 100. I don't think we need to rate into them.
I was gonna say I have someone playing Fallout New Vegas. We were talking about that earlier.
All right, who is it?
Earlier.
Hit me with that shit.
Here, I'll do it.
All right. All right. For this little subset at the end of the the Metal Gear Solid 3 playlist, for those of you on the YouTube archive, thank you so much for hanging around with us. Catch you guys next time.